talking about the best ways to market to doctors, the first thing I want to stress to you, matter of fact, I had a conversation just yesterday. I actually went to a local area here in my community. Now, I wasn't there doing anything for my personal business. I was asked to be there. A friend of mine invited me to be there, and I thought, hey, I'll go. It was during a lunch. It was kind of a lunch and a little thing there. And I met a young man there and found out a little bit about him. And he says that he's working with his dad, and they do embroidery for shirts and all this kind of stuff. And it was a networking meeting. And so the young man was talking, I was talking with him, and he says, this is a family business. They've got this big place behind their house where they've got all the big equipment. His dad's been doing it for 20 plus years. And so his dad's kind of taking him underneath his arms. And one of the things that he wanted his son to go out to do was go what everybody hates to go do, and that's market the business. And so I pulled him aside for a second. I said, let's talk about that. What are you afraid of whenever you're hearing the word marketing? He says, well, I have a hard time kind of talking to people and telling them about my business. Well, I said, okay. So let's talk about this. First of all, I want you to get marketing and sales out of your head. That's the first thing I told him. I said, stop worrying about this whole thing about marketing. Stop worrying about this thing about sales. So your dad's got this business, and one of the things he wants you to do is go out there and, again, share that y'all are in business. I said, so let's start thinking along the terms of how are people going to know that you're in business if they don't know that you're in business? So think about your business as you're more along the lines of just letting people know that the story you just told me. I asked him the question, and he says, hey, this is what we do. I found out that he was in business for 20 years. They've got all this equipment, and they're literally right down the road. I didn't even know that they were there. I said, but you understand what you just did? You did what you need to do, which is go out there and build a strong network. And that's all you've got to do, folks. So this is what I'm trying to tell you right now. I shared that story to let you know that a lot of us get, especially when we're getting started as an entrepreneur, we kind of got that fear of, gosh, I know that I'm not a good salesperson. Well, I'm glad you're not a good salesperson. I am a salesperson, and I got out of it. When I found out that whenever I found myself trying to sell things, people started pushing up their hands. They may have not done it physically, but they did it emotionally, and they felt like they needed to walk off or anything like that. But the day that I just started telling people a little bit about myself, but really what really turned the corner for me was I started asking people about themselves. And folks, you're going to find out that people in the end, they like to talk about themselves. But if you're the first one to at least ask the question, to me, that's building a strong network, because what then you can do is say, you know what, I did hear about some folks that might be needing some embroidery done, or they need some marketing, items done. Can y'all do those types of things? And you show some interest in their business. And what happens here is a principle that is used in influence, if it's done correctly, that you're going to develop an influence of what's called reciprocity. Because what happens is that if you're the first one person asking the question, saying, hey, tell me a little bit about your business, and you get them to share, well, then nobody wants to be looked as someone that doesn't want to share or find out more about you. Typically, the question does come around, tell me about you. Well, that's kind of what happened yesterday, even with this young man. So what I'm saying is then they give you the opportunity and a little bit of the opportunity to go, well, I'm glad you asked. I'll share with you a little bit about what I do. So in building a strong network is learning, first of all, how to be the first one to ask someone else what they do. So when you go out to build a strong network, think of it that I want to find every person in the room, and I want to go find out what they do. Instead of me walking up and saying, hey, my name's Eric Auger, this is what I do. go around and asking somebody, say, my name's Eric. Tell me what your name is, or whatever your name is. You don't have to use Eric, but you go, you know what I'm talking about. Go to some networking meetings or some other things that might be happening in your area, a luncheon or somewhere, and don't wait for someone to come to you. You go to them and just simply ask, tell me why you're here and what does your business do? All right, so everybody got that so far? So if you can see here, I'm educating you right now on how to go out and be known within the community. Okay? So go find these BNI meetings. I like Chamber of Commerce's. You're going to find everything that's out there. And again, you initiate the conversation. Chetan's going, great going. I'm already getting good feedback already. So don't be afraid of trying to sell your business. And don't worry if the other person doesn't ask you about your business. It's okay. Find somebody else, because someone's going to eventually say, Becky, tell me what you do. Let's see who is James. There's actually two. Gosh, there's several James on here today. Katrina, Marcy, Nathan, Shri. Someone's going to finally say, well, tell me what you do. Well, then when you go through our training, you're going to find out how to encapsulate a very quick snapshot of what you do. And it could be something just as easy as this, is that I'm part of the nation's largest independent group of independent medical billers. And we process literally hundreds, if not thousands, of claims every day to reduce claims that get lost in the mail. But really what we're doing, we're simply helping the doctors get more money so they can stay in business, which provides you and your family a better healthcare system. Stop talking. Did you get that? What I did a couple of things there in that one little sentence. I shared them what I'm a part of a large group. So that's number one. I shared a little bit of what we do to kind of help with claims that get lost. I help the doctor get more money that provides you a better healthcare system. Stop talking. Everybody get that? That's your spiel. Because what does that do? Well, it shows that you're not just a little guy. You're part of a group, big group. Because MIRMA is truly the nation's largest group of independent medical billers. So you're already part of a large group. You're telling the problem because you said that doctors are having trouble getting some claims processed. You want to help doctors get more money. But it relates to them. So everybody on this call today, or that's going to listen to this call, everybody's gone to the doctor and you just feel like a number. Why do you feel like a number? Because you are just a number. And I'll tell you why you're just a number. And that is because the doctor is already struggling getting paid. Because the doctor already knows, I have to tell my front office staff, double and triple book me, that if someone doesn't show up, that slot doesn't stay unavailable. So that means whenever you do get there and everybody starts to show up at that 11 o'clock slot, there's probably two other people at that 11 o'clock slot. And that's why you're having to wait an hour to get to see the doctor. And then when you get to the doctor only sees you for 10 to 15 minutes, if even that. You see, you are a number within in their world, in the cog of everything, because they know that about 20% of those people that they're going to bill for, they're not even going to ever get paid on. So let that sink in just a second. They know already that if they've got a book of business of 100 patients in that one day, they're only going to get paid on 80 or less. The other, they're going to have to rebill or they're going to have to write off. All right. So That is a very important part because I know whenever I go to the doctor, I want that doctor to spend as much time with me as possible because I'm not feeling well. But I'm going to promise you the doctor doesn't feel well because they're already overworked. They're not getting the reimbursements that they're supposed to be getting. And so, therefore, whenever it comes to you, your parents, your wife, your husband, your mom, your dad, they're not getting the full attention of that doctor because they're worried about getting paid themselves. So, what I want you to do starting today, if you're truly looking hard to get in this business, what I want you today to understand is what you need to be doing is building a strong network with people by asking them first what they do. When they finally talk with you and they say, well, tell me what you do, before you even spat off your name of your company, just say, I'm part of the nation's largest group of independent medical billers. We help doctors that are losing money because they can't get their claims paid. I help them get more money, which in turn helps you and your healthcare for your family. That's what we do. Where do you go to those? Go to BNI meetings, go to independent meetup groups, go to the Chamber of Commerce's, go to their luncheons, go be a part of that. We want you to learn how that becomes your best practice of building your business. We've got tons of information. And what's going to happen is it's going to lead to other things. You might get invited to speak at a local doctor's office. You may even share enough to where there's some other organizations that say, hey, why don't you join us for coffee? We have coffee hours on Thursday mornings. Would you come spend some time with us and share what you do there? What is that doing? It's building a strong network with you. That's what we're trying to do. You may be invited eventually to do some educational events. You may even find a doctor that says, I want you to come talk with me directly. Would you come talk with me and to my staff? We call that direct marketing. A lot of people might call this cold calling, but it's not cold calling because what's happened is that you've shared this information with enough people that maybe one of those people is a doctor and they overheard, or you shared it with the right person and then they shared it with a doctor whom they already know that they're already doing business with. This is called, you may end up finding a medical healthcare sales rep at one of these organizations, at a luncheon or something else like that. And you say that right thing right there, all of a sudden you're getting a call and going, hey, that's what's happened to me. I helped not too long ago, within the last 45 to 60 days, I helped a brand new ABS licensee with the same way. Found out that she was getting involved in business. I'm working in healthcare. Guess what I heard? I heard that there was someone that needed some help. I kind of did all the referral part. I became a power partner for this one. All of a sudden, she's got her first client. The other thing that's going to happen is that you're going to find out about your warm market. Your warm market are going to be those people that you meet at these events, these networking events. And then all of a sudden, then there might be a small group of you that kind of binds together. And you go, you know what? We all are kind of targeting the same prospect doctor. One might be a real estate agent. One might be an insurance sales. One might be in who knows what else out there. And then you become as the revenue cycle management company that kind of comes in there as well. And then we're all sharing, you're actually kind of looking at the same doctor. One may have a little bit better relationship with that doctor than you might. And then they bring you aside and say, you know what, I just met, Becky the other day at a luncheon, and this is what she does. She'd like to, so building the warm market could be the best way in which you find that first doctor. Okay, so enough with that said. I'm already kind of into this a little bit deep, and I want to make sure I get to the couple of others. But if you got questions about this whole building this strong network, go ahead and put your question in, because remember, at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to kind of go back over it with you. The second thing I want you to learn how to do is going to be building your credibility. Now, that's part of our job here at ABS, because we know that doctors listen to industry leaders that are out there. Well, I'm showing you three right now. Dr. Vicki Rachner, Patrick Phillips, and Adam Phillips. These folks have all written books on medical billing, how doctors lose money. Dr. Rachner has written a book called The Myth of the Rich Doctor. Patrick's written a book, The New Thriving Medical Practice. Adam's written 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. So we've got material and stuff that we know that doctors are going to listen to. And so with that information, what we're going to start to do is start utilizing some of these books as your help, as some credibility. And how does that begin? With us here at ABS, we've already written the book, so to say, that like this one, The New Thriving Medical Practice. It's written by Patrick Phillips and Dr. Vicki Rachner. But at the very bottom of that book, you're going to see something that's interesting. The foreword is written by Susan Smith, CMRM. Well, that CMRM stands for the Certified Medical Revenue Manager. So your name actually goes on the front cover of the book, because we're going to place your name on the inside cover, not on just the outside cover, but on the inside of the one that wrote the foreword to the book. We do have a templated foreword. You're free, once you are part of ABS, to rewrite it, tweak it however you want it to be in your little bit of your own language, add some things there to it, but you go on the front cover. So when you do those networking meetings, you're out there and about, and all of a sudden someone says, well, can you tell me a little bit more about your business? You can say, you know what, I actually wrote the foreword to a book called The New Thriving Medical Practice. And if you know of a doctor, I would love to get this book into their hands. Wow, you wrote the foreword to a book? All of a sudden, your credibility goes from here to here. Because now they almost see you as the author of a book. Now listen, I do, if I were to take this screen, this green screen off, right behind me is an entire library of tons of books already. There are many books that I do read the foreword to the book, because I like to kind of get a kind of an overview of what this book's about to tell me. And so the person that wrote the foreword to the book, they've already read the book, and they're giving me a very quick synopsis of what I can expect out of the book. And so when you wrote the book, or apparently you have already read the book and you've written the foreword to the book, so you already know where it kind of comes into play. So you are endorsing this book called The New Thriving Medical Practice. So that already escalates you up the credibility ladder all of a sudden, because I promise you, the people that you're going to run into these luncheons or these Chamber of Commerces or the BNIs, they're not going to have a book to share with anybody. You will. And it's written by a doctor, which is bringing you up another class of credibility. So we want to teach you, to show you how you can utilize that book and help you get that first client. So everybody's asking, Eric, what does ABS do for me in helping me get my client? I'm sharing it with you just as raw as I can give it to you right now. We're going to teach you truly how and what to say at these, so that you build a strong network group of people. Because remember, if you go out there and just try to do it by yourself, it's going to take you some time. That's why we want you to go out and extend your reach. Let that be a key word here. The way to let other people know is to let other people know that you're in business. So that is extending your reach out there, utilizing networking opportunities. Then once you've got that underneath your belt for a little bit, then you got the opportunity to kind of share your information, your credibility through a book like The New Thriving Medical Practice. Then obviously people are going to want to know, gosh, did they really have a website? Well, look on here on the screen here. On that second page over here to the right, it says Susan Smith, Acme Revenue Management. Obviously, that number is not a correct number, but down at the bottom, look what it says, acmerevenue.com. Now, that's just a fake website, because what we want them to do is be drawn to your website, because people always want to go out and go, is this person credible? Folks, if you don't have a website that looks halfway decent, you're not credible. We have plenty of templated websites for you to choose from. You can change some colors. There's a little bit of customization that you're able to do with the websites. But folks, this is your website, and it's not something absystems.com / your medical billing practice. It's going to have your own URL. It's going to it's going to, the people are going to go to it and they'll go, wow, this looks the same. The book looks the same. It's the same information. It looks like you've spent 30 years putting this together. And in essence, you have, because ABS has been here for 30 years and we've done the homework. We know we've worked with several marketing companies to try to pull this together so that when you're out there, you look as though that you've been in this a long time. Like I said, we've got plenty of other websites out there that you can choose from to make it look and feel however you want it to look. But it's going to have the same consistency message that you're going to need every step of the way. The last thing I'm going to share with you in this 30 minutes here is you need to build with proven solutions. And so these are the solutions that we have. If it was just medical billing, then you've limited your scope of really how much reach you're really going to have. There are other business opportunities out there that are only offering you a medical billing training and medical billing software and some marketing material. Not here at ABS. Not only do we have the iClaim EMRX billing platform and the training and the lifetime of support, there's never a time where you have to go back and purchase more support. It's for a lifetime. But we also have these other ancillary services. And as you heard on our meeting, our Wednesday webinar from last week, nobody in our industry has some of the things that we have, like the top up there that says virtual care. Nobody has that as a business opportunity. Folks, listen, virtual care, which is a crafty name to say remote patient monitoring. Folks, we all know what we went through with the pandemic. Nobody wanted to go to the doctor, but the doctors needed to keep up with their patient, with their blood pressure, their blood sugar, their weights, so many other different things. We actually have that as a solution for you to help the doctors keep up with their patients and also to be able to make some additional money that they can bill Medicare for. And eventually, obviously, you could do the billing for that. But we have CodeWrite. So if there's doctors that need help with coding, AuditGuard and CodeWrite are those two solutions there. It got Quick Collect, Choice Pay to help with past dues that are needed for the doctor. Those that want to venture into dental billing, we've got Dentamax, you can see there, for doctors' offices, and every doctor's office, every dentist office, every chiropractor, everybody that's out there in healthcare needs Compliancy Guard, which has to do with HIPAA compliancy. And then AutoCard helps the doctors stay in business because they're sending out real cards to their patients to remind them for upcoming needs that they may have. So all of these different solutions also come with an 8.5 by 11 flyer to explain every single one of these things. So this is all part of what you're getting. So again, if the doctor needs some coding help, we've got coding solutions with CodeWrite. We're here to help them. If a doctor is ever under an audit, that we can help the doctor with their coding audits. That's all there. HIPAA compliancy, we've got that covered there. Folks, we have everything that the doctors are going to need and more. It's just amazing what all that we have here. So let me kind of put a wrap on this again here at the bottom of the hour. There are three main topics that I shared with you today. The first one is build a strong network. And again, that's going to lead out that whenever I go to these networking events, these we call networking events, or these opportunities where other business people are gathering together, one of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to look for other people and I just want to hear their story and just wait for them to ask me the question. So Eric or Becky or James or whoever you are on this webinar, tell me about what you do. The second thing is I shared with you on this webinar of how we're going to help you get your first client and best ways to market to your doctors. You got to have some credibility. And automatically with here at ABS, you have 30 years of credibility. And that first starts off with industry leaders that the doctors will listen to. Adam, Patrick, Dr. Rackner have written hundreds, if not thousands, of articles that have been in newspaper and not necessarily newspapers, but magazine articles. They've written books Dr. Vicki Ratner has been interviewed on so many different media outlets. She's available to talk with the doctors for you. She actually can write a letter of a recommendation to a prospect doctor that you may be marketing to. So let's say that you go to one of these networking meetings and you just found out that Dr. Jones down the road, who is a cardiologist, has some need. Well, why don't we have Dr. Vicki Ratner write a letter from her to this particular Dr. Jones, who's a cardiologist, suggesting that they might just want to talk to somebody in their area that can help them out with their billing or their revenue cycle management. And then lastly, again, making sure that you have the solutions outside of just medical billing. What are other things that you do that might be able to help that doctor bring up their revenue cycle management? Because remember, you're a certified medical revenue manager. So we kind of get narrow-minded thinking that this is all that I do is medical billing. But remember, you're trying to find ways to help that doctor increase their revenue. So again, those are the best ways that we're going to teach you and share with you how to market to doctors. And folks, I can tell you, those that follow systematically systematically follow the things that we teach here at American Business Systems end up getting their first client usually within the first 2 to 3, maybe even 6 months. It really depends on how often you're able to increase your reach. Okay, let that be your takeaway today. Remember, when you first start off, nobody knows that you're in business except your spouse or your family, and people are going, you just invested $30,000, and when are you gonna get that money back? You know, and you're self-talking yourself in your head as well. Which what you got to do, you got to get out there and extend your reach. And the more that you do that, the more places that you go, not to sell yourself. And again, what time in this webinar have I said you're going to go cold call and knock on doors? Not one time. What I want you to do is go out there and let people know, find out what they're doing, see how you can help them, because I promise you, reciprocity really, really does work. Because if you go, you know what, I know somebody that needs some marketing doing it abroad. You know what? I need it. How about you? Would you mind doing some shirts for me, or tell me other marketing? Because I'd like to get some things out to the doctor. Oh, well, yeah, I can do it. See, that's how it all works. And then whenever they go, well, you know what? I heard of a doctor, or I heard somebody else that deals some things with some other doctors. It might be good that you go visit with those folks there as well. So that's what we're going to teach you how to do to market to these doctors. So hopefully this has been helpful. For those that are on the recording, folks, we're wrapping this up, but I want to share a couple of things with you before we do that. And then if those that are on here today, you want to get some questions answered, I'll be happy to stay with you. But for those that are listening to the recording, just know this, that we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. It is there for you, which means that you're going to sign your agreement, you're going to get your funding in with your investment, and you got 30 days, which is you got 2 weeks of training, which is half of that. So you're going to go through the entire part of training and still evaluate it to see if this is what you want to do. And if that into that 30 days you make that decision, you feel like it's not for you, give us a call here, send us an email, get back with the person that you did all of your due diligence work with, and they'll walk you through the process of getting your money back. So you've got that always at your fingertips. Listen, again, there is not a business opportunity or franchise that offers this type of guarantee. There's just not out there. So what are some of your next steps? What I want you to do, besides getting that 5 secrets to success, get out there and ask and request from your business coach here about getting a research guide. This is about a 60 to 65 page document. It's another document that you're going to want to get a hold of it and start reviewing that. Obviously, you can always browse our YouTube channel. We've got hundreds of other webinars that we've done, interviews that are on there. The one that we did last week is already up. This one will be up there in a couple of days, so you can be able to get that. Talk with some of our current business owners. The one that we did last week, you can talk with her. We've got others that you can talk with. So get the time, spend the time visiting with other people that have joined us here at American Business Systems. They'll be more than happy to talk with you. Then I want you to see a live demonstration of the software. But folks, now one thing I didn't talk about during the webinar, I'll just share briefly, is that we actually have 3 different billing platforms for you to choose from. Now, obviously, I don't have the time to go through those right now, but ask your business coach, say that Eric mentioned that there's 3 different medical billing platforms, and they'll break it down for you. There's our standard gold standard that we have out there that has the billing and the EMR and everything else that goes along with that. We also have a couple of other types of options for you to use. There may be some that are a little bit more competitive for the doctor. There's one there that actually has some inventory parts of the software that helps with inventory, like creams and lotions and bandages and all sorts of stuff like that, that might be helpful for a doctor that one doesn't have. But check out and get with your business coach here, ask them to see a demonstration of the software. Then get your purchase agreement. Your purchase agreement is about 5 pages long. You finish that out, get that back to us here at AB Systems, and then get your funding and training. You can start as early as next week. We do have some limited opportunities to begin next week. So again, just give us a call. We would love for you to get started. For those that are on the recording, I'm going to put this up here for one last time, that you can give us a call here at 866-565-8413. That is 866-565-8413. Give us a call, shout us out over here in an email. We'll be happy to help you out.